Hey there, I'm Dr. Dave. It's Microdose U. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you exactly what I have added to my diet to give me more anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. And I'll also share with you exactly how it's worked. And I think this is really going to help your life, not only of microdosing, but in general, it's going to help your mental and physical life. So let's get right into it. This is Microdose U. I am Dr. Dave.
Enter the world of magic mushrooms with Microdose U.
Hey there, welcome back. I'm Dr. Dave, and I'm so glad that all of my nakama are here with me today because I've got a really good episode. I'm going to share with you exactly what I've added to my diet and why I've added it to my diet. And not only that, the results that I'm getting. So I'm really happy with the way things are going so far. Real quickly, before I get into it, just remember this coming Sunday, April 28th, we have a free class. Dr. Denise Moret and I are hosting it, and our guest is going to be Janelle Michael Isaac, and she's going to be speaking and teaching us all about the different strains, varieties, and what species of magic mushrooms and more. We're going to talk all about this. It's one of the most commonly asked questions I get. Well, what strain do I use? What variety? What type of magic mushroom? There's so many out there. What do I use for exactly the result I want to see and I want to achieve? So we're going to be getting into all that. Bring your questions. It's going to be awesome. It is no charge. It is free. I'm doing this for my nakama. And the only thing I do ask, if you do sign up, since it is free, please make sure you show up because we have limited spots. And if you sign up and then you just don't show, it's just keeping somebody else away. So we really don't want to do that. So please help us out. The link to get to the registration page is simply classroom.davidmatto.com. And I'll make sure I put that in the show notes so you can just click on it and there won't be any problem getting to it. So make sure you're there. We want to see all nakama. It's going to be kind of like a nakama hangout Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So wherever you are on this planet, check your time zone and correlate it to 7 p.m. Eastern time. And oh God, we'll see you there. It's going to be great. So what I've done, I've talked to you very many times about having to do work alongside of microdosing, because just microdosing alone, well, you might get some results. I'm not saying you won't, but you're not going to get optimal results, and it's not going to probably go the way you want because there are a lot of other things you have to do. Look, it didn't just happen overnight that you got into the situation that you're trying to fix, whether it's some type of mental health issue or whatever it might be. It didn't happen overnight. It happened very, very gradually over a long period of time, and you probably didn't notice it until it started getting really bad. That's the way it happens in most cases. So thinking that just popping a few, microdosing tablets or, eating some magic mushrooms are going to take care of it quickly. It's just, that's not really the way I want you to think. I want you to think you're going to do everything you can. You're going to put your all into this. You're going to pretty much dedicate your life to fixing the way you are and the way you feel. And one of the things I've done fairly recently, I'll back up because I've always tried my best to be like a very healthy eater. My health is very important to me. So I've been outside exercising or inside or wherever I need to be for decades. And I've always tried to eat the right thing. But, you slip up, you get into bad habits, you gain weight, you eat junk. It happens to everybody and no judgment whatsoever. However, I got a wake-up call through this whole funk that I went through. Started at least I think it started 4 or 5 years ago, but it probably started way before that. But you just don't know it because it's coming on gradually, so you don't know it. But it got to the point where things were pretty bad, and I've got everything under control now with my microdosing and the things I'm doing on the side. And one of the things I noticed, and my doctor noticed, is that some of the things in my blood work were just like a little out of whack. Inflammatory markers, some of the maybe low density lipoprotein, the particle size, the particle numbers, things that a lot of times, things that a lot of doctors don't even dive into. So you may not even know about this because if you've got one of these doctors, like I've said before, that kind of does a quick exam, pats you on the back, and says everything's good, you might not even know some of the things that are going on. So again, I urge you to find the very best doctor you can in your area. You can do this. The way I look at it, yeah, it might be more expensive than what you're paying now, but um, it will pay off incredibly over your lifetime in better health if you just know some of the things that are going on. So we noticed that some of my inflammatory markers were up a little bit, and I wanted to do the things that I could do that I totally have control of to make sure everything's within check, make sure everything's healthy. One of the things is losing weight. So I went on a weight loss diet, which was kind of like a intermittent fast, and I'm still sticking to that as much as I can. It really really worked well, and that's a little bit beyond what I was going to talk about on today's episode. But since I got into it, I'll just tell you real quickly. I eat all of my meals and everything in between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. After 6:30 p.m., I don't eat anything. The only thing I will consume is some tea, some hot tea, or it could be iced tea. It doesn't really matter, or water. But I don't really eat anything, and this helped me a lot because not only did I lose weight, but after 6:30 p.m. and after dinner was a time that I would just snack. I don't know why. It's not that I was hungry, but I would just like, it's so easy to pick up some trail mix and some nuts and some whatever, whatever you got lying around the house. You walk through the kitchen or the fridge and it's so easy. But so I made it my goal or my point not to eat anything after I finished dinner at 6:30. Again, except for some maybe hot beverage like a hot tea, but no sugar in it. No, I mean, I don't eat sugar anyway, but no sweets, nothing like that. Just plain old, good old decaffeinated, preferably if you're doing it in the evening, but hot tea or I use green tea usually, and then or just water. Water's good. Water's healthy. So let me tell you about some of the things I've put into my diet now that have really really helped me. Number one, and these are in no real order other than the order I just thought of these in. So it's not like the first one's going to be the most important. To me, they're all important. If something's not that important, I'll tell you. But to me, they're all important because everything kind of works together. So the first one I incorporate in, and I probably have talked to you about this a little bit, and I eat it every morning. Every morning is natto, which is it's Japanese. In English, it's and you can walk into an Asian grocery store and ask for a natto, but it's fermented soybeans. It's a very small prepackaged portion. It usually comes with a little bit of mustard and sauce, and you mix it all together. There is a learning curve, I will tell you, because at first you're going to look at this and say, what the heck did I get into? This is nasty. It smells a little weird. It's not bad, but it's something that we're not used to as Westerners. Um, Once you start eating it, you actually embrace it and it tastes really, really good, but it's slimy, it's sticky, it's weird consistency, and it smells, you might think it smells raunchy. But again, I overlooked all of that stuff only because I've researched the health benefits of natto, and it is amazing how healthy this is. So again, every morning I have a small portion of natto before my actual breakfast. I get it. I get it. There's a Japanese grocery store around the corner from my house. You can normally get it in probably almost any Asian grocery store in the frozen section because they keep them frozen because that's the way they stay fresh the best. So and they usually they come to like 3 little styrofoam containers per package. And if you can't find them, ask somebody there. They'll try to help you with it. But I highly recommend trying it. And get back to me and let me know what you think after you've bought some and tried some. Again, it's not the kind of thing you want to just do one time and say you can't stand the taste or the consistency. Practice it and keep trying to eat it. And there will come a time, it might be a month or two, but there will come a time where you start to say to yourself, this actually is really, really good. And I honestly believe that. I really do. It tastes really, really good, but it does take some getting used to. I will tell you that. Second on my list is yogurt. I have a very small portion of yogurt every single morning. Usually put a couple little slices of banana in my yogurt along with my breakfast. Again, it's a great, great, great probiotic. Adds the good bacteria, simplest way to say it, good bacteria to your gut, which the bacteria in the gut are super, super important for overall health. Really important. And too many people walking around just have lack of the good bacteria in their gut, and that's why you've got like all kinds of problems going on, whether it's like gas or gastric distension or what do you call it? Acid reflux. There's just so many problems. So I urge you to please look at gut health. And if you do the things that I'm telling you here, you're going to be on your way to better gut health. I promise you. Oatmeal. Just a really good quality oatmeal. I use a gluten-free oatmeal. I don't eat oatmeal every morning. I'd say I probably alternate it. My wife and I eat eggs almost every morning, but sometimes maybe 1 out of 3 days I'll substitute oatmeal instead of eggs. And I'll also have a little bit of protein with that as well. So if I eat oatmeal, I'll have some peanut butter with it as well. Not necessarily mixed in. You can, but I just want some type of protein. I'm doing a lot of working out, a lot of walking, running, and skiing, as you know. So the adequate amount of protein is pretty important for me. Every day at lunch, I will have either a can of sardines or a can of mackerel, like naturally smoked mackerel. Again, extremely healthy, very, very healthy. Antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, omega 3s, probably omega 6s. Just there's a can of sardines. The way I look at it is like a can of health. And to my vegan friends that might be listening, yeah, I used to be vegan. I was vegan for 7 years, but you know something, I discovered, at least for my own body, it was not working. I was lacking a lot of stuff. It was not healthy in any way. So again, it's okay if you're vegan, but you've got to be very careful. I was there. I'm not speaking as a like a carnivore or an omnivore that has always been like against vegans and hate vegan. No, I was there. I practiced it for 7 years until I felt so bad I had to go back to eating some animal products, and that's just the way it is. I can't change that. So again, I'm just saying this because some vegan people might be saying, "Well, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't eat that." Well, you might want to double check your health and be absolutely sure you're getting every single thing you need, because I wasn't. I just wasn't. Bone broth. I'll have a cup of bone broth, not every day for lunch, but I'd say many days for lunch. Probably in a week, probably at least 4 out of 7 days. I really should have bone broth every day because it's so healthy, really, really healthy. But I'm working on every day. But I'd say most days I have bone broth for lunch. Probiotic supplement. I take these occasionally. And I use the kind I got 85 billion. You see these numbers, 85 billion. What that stands for is colony forming units, whatever that means. But the higher the number, the better generally. Mine say 85 billion on it. I use a brand called Garden of Life. There are a lot of really good brands out there. If you get it in your local, like healthy type store, go over to the refrigerated section where they have them, because the kind that you have to keep in the fridge, I think, are higher quality and better probiotics. So they're not cheap, but again, my health is worth it. I hope your health is worth it. Let's see what else. Black coffee. I drink black coffee generally every morning, 1 to 2 cups. I don't put anything in it yet. No sugar, no milk, no nothing. Just black coffee every morning. And then in the evening, like I said, I drink a lot of hot tea. Generally in the evening, it would be decaffeinated green tea. I don't want to be staying up all night long, but I also like oolong. I like chai tea without sugar or milk, though. Just plain black chai tea. And some other blends that are just really good. But green tea you can never go wrong with that. It's a really, really good one. Very, very healthy, full of antioxidants, as are most teas. Let's see. Dark chocolate. I try to eat a piece of dark chocolate once a day. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I generally try to eat dark chocolate once a day. And something else I wanted to mention here. This is not really something that I consume, but I found that if I go to sleep by 9 p.m. every evening and wake up by 5 a.m., sometimes earlier, that schedule for me now again, it's not for everybody, depending on your lifestyle, but I will tell you this, that schedule for me has worked out incredibly well. I feel so much healthier and productive and not fatigued when I stick to that schedule. I usually get up pretty early in the morning. 3 days a week, I have a video Japanese lesson that starts at 7 a.m. my time, and it goes till from 7 till 8. That's 3 days a week. And I usually get up much earlier than the 7 because I sit around and I do like things in my morning routine. I stretch, I drink some coffee, and I do study. I study my Japanese, and it's a great way to expand the mind and expand the brain. Think about that. I might do an episode on that because I found that taking a language, learning another language, is something that is really important for cognitive skills. So again, we'll put a pin in that one for now. I think I'll come back and do a separate episode on the power and the cognitive power of taking another language and things like that. What else did I write down here? I wrote down so the other things I wrote down is things that I don't eat, and mainly I don't eat any excess sugar. I can never say I don't eat any sugar because I'd be lying if I ate a banana. There's sugar in a banana, and don't be afraid of sugar in fruit. Fruit is really healthy. Now, don't overdo it. Don't eat 5 bananas at a sitting. That's crazy. Nobody would do that. Just like nobody would eat like a box of broccoli at one sitting. I mean, you got to be when I say a box, I mean like a big box of broccoli. You got to have some common sense. So, you might say that, well, everybody eats sugar. Well, that's true, but I don't eat any added sugar. I don't add sugar to my food. And also I don't eat any kind of like simple carbs. I don't eat, let's say, sweet cereal. I don't eat cakes and cookies and things like that, sweets. I just don't eat stuff like that. So if you take all that processed junk, those simple carbs out of your diet, you're already going to be a step ahead for sure. So yeah, no excess sugar, no refined carbs, and I limit my red meat. I went through a phase that I was actually eating a fair amount of red meat. But one of the reasons I got into this anti-inflammatory and antioxidant diet is because my inflammatory markers were going up. And same thing with some of my blood lipid markers. And I made an effort to limit my red meat. I'm not against red meat. I like it. I enjoy eating it, but I do think there's a place for it. And I think you have to be careful because it can cause inflammation and it can cause other things. So I limit my red meat now to, I don't know. I don't really keep track that carefully, but maybe once a week I'll eat some red meat, maybe once a week, if that. Again, I'm not against it. I just know that when I eat more red meat, I've got more inflammation in my body, and inflammation leads to problems in your body. One thing that comes to mind offhand from inflammation is plaque accumulation in your arteries. It's like I said, everything is related. It's. I wish I would have known all this back when I was even in dental school. Everything is related. You can't just put blinders on and do one thing. You have to really look at the entire picture. So yeah, and by the way, when I went back 3 months later after changing my diet and after losing some weight and also after limiting red meat and using this anti-inflammatory diet that I'm using right now, my blood work was in 3 months. My blood work was much better. The human body is amazing. You take away the stressors and you take away the things that are bad, and the human body likes to repair itself. So keep that in mind. I mean, if you start doing many, many, many things right, again, you just can't do one or two things right. Like I mentioned, sleep here, but everything's connected. So if you start doing a lot of things right, you're going to notice a big difference in the way your health is. And not only that, but the way you feel every day. And remember, I want to remind you, you're not here listening to me only to learn how to microdose. You want to feel better. You want to feel better every single day, and you want to be healthier. That's the main reason you're here, other than if you just want to listen to my voice. And I do have some people in Japan that are actually tuning into the podcast because they think I speak, and maybe it's true, I speak very clearly, and it's easy to understand my English. Maybe if somebody has English as a second language, I pronounce my words very carefully, and I talk, fairly slowly. So it's a good learning skill to, for somebody that's trying to learn English as a second language that may be even interested in this topic a little bit, but they listen to my voice. So I'm pleased and proud of that. So anybody that's listening from Japan, arigatou gozaimasu. Anyway, okay. And so I think that's kind of what I wanted to say. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Because again, these episodes lately, I just kind of go through and I don't edit. And We just say what we have to say. Oh, one other thing I will mention: I was using some ghee in my diet regularly. I would actually stir it into my black coffee, and so when you stir ghee into black coffee, it's not black anymore, but it looks black, but it still has some. That's ghee is clarified butter. So when I got my blood test back and I was trying to really work on my blood lipid panel. I did take the ghee out of my diet and use it very infrequently now, and I noticed there was a change for the better. I'm not sure, again, since I did so many different things, I'm not sure what's what, but I've been keeping ghee out of the diet a little bit. My medical doctor actually told me that I want a little bit of fat in my coffee to take it that way, to use a little bit of olive oil, virgin olive. What is it called? Extra, what is EEVO, extra something. I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, can't remember, but anyway, Evo, extra virgin olive, I can't remember. I can't remember what it stands for. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Use a high quality, a high quality olive oil. You'll probably write in and tell me what I was supposed to say. You'll know. Um, I think that's it. If you follow even most of what I just said, I think you're going to start feeling a lot better. And remember, if you do have some extra pounds, the weight loss is it's a major win. If you can lose some weight, it's a major win. One of the main reasons I was losing weight is because I wanted to take some weight off of my knees, but I noticed that when I lost weight, like many other things started happening for the better. So yeah, excess weight just really wreaks havoc on our bodies, mentally and physically. Remember, everything is connected. You can't just say, if I lose some weight, it's going to help prevent diabetes, or if I lose some weight, it's going to help prevent this or that. It's Everything is connected. It will help prevent everything. I promise you. I really do. Okay, I think that's all I have to say today. Remember, I've got a lot of really good links in the show notes. So if you haven't checked the show notes out, check them out, because a lot of people say they want to learn how to work one-on-one with me, or subscribe to my newsletter, or get onto the private Facebook group. So it's all in the show notes every week. So please check that out. I want to thank you so much for being here, Nakama. I do love you, and I really say that from my heart. And today's Friday as we speak, so I want you to have a really, really good weekend. Do something fun. Do something really enjoyable that's going to add some pleasure to your life. Because every little bit helps. And in this crazy world, we got to do something and make it good, if that makes any sense at all. There's a lot of bad news out there all the time, but if we harp on that, it's not doing us any good. There's only so much we can control. So go ahead and have some fun. And remember, I may or may not be back with Microdose Monday, but I'll definitely be back on Wednesday and Friday. Those are the definite days I have brand new episodes, every Wednesday and Friday. So until then, I'm Dr. Dave, and thanks so much for spending the last 22, 23 minutes with me. Talk to you soon. Love you.